Hey YouTube, Do-It-Yourself Junkie 369. Today I'm going to show you the cheapest way to improve your rifle and your shooting by building and using a shooting sock. Cost for materials on this one is about $22 or less depending on what you use, and for that you can build two socks and use them as rest while shooting in the field or at the range, improving your group size. These will weigh about 1.3 pounds a piece if you use the 600 grams of airsoft pellets as I do in this video. Here are a couple commercially available rests. The first is a canvas version of what I'm making today, but it weighs about 2.5 pounds and costs about $13 or more depending on what brand you buy. There are some cheaper ones, but I'm not sure they are big enough for use or any real use, and they seem to have different shapes that would possibly limit their use. I have had a chance to use this second one and it's about $30. It was the one I had a chance to use was difficult to squeeze and get into the height that I needed it to be, or the shape that was good for me to use, and just the rear bag weighs 1.3 pounds. The front is much heavier. If I had to guess, it's probably in the 2 to 3 pound range. For building these socks, you will need at least one or two socks. I prefer cotton or wool, light boot socks with a brown, black, or green color. For fill media, I would use something such as sand, plastic craft beads that you get from like a Michaels, or in this case, airsoft pellet, which is really nice because it keeps the weight down. Airsoft pellets come in several different weights and styles. If you're going to use them, make sure to get the lightest and cheapest you can get. Also make sure they're not the biodegradable kind. Several videos that I've watched online are using corncob media or rice or beans or other biomedia, and some of the commercial available products do the same thing. I do not suggest using this type of stuff. Most of it will absorb water or rot if they get wet, and I plan on using mine out in the field personally, and they probably will get wet. I'm not sure who first used this shooting sock, but I believe it was probably a sniper if I had to guess. In the field, you don't want to pack around a lot of weight, so you're just going to carry some empty socks. You probably should have spares anyway to keep your feet dry, and they weigh next to nothing. For the field expedient sock, first I'll take the sock and turn it inside out so that when it's finished, the outside of the sock is the outside surface of your shooting sock. Fill it, you simply open the end of the sock and fill it with handfuls of sand until it's the size you need it, about how full and stretched out to a diameter that is suitable for you. In this example, I'm using pellets so I don't have to drag sand or dirt into my house and have the wife kill me because of it. She already didn't like the fact that I dropped pellets all over the floor. Since I'm building two, I used a scale and a cup to split up the container of pellets. For the 10,000 count container of 0.12 gram pellet, I used about 600 grams for half in each sock. My cup only holds 500 grams at a time, so you'll see me fill the cup, put it in the sock, and then add another 100 grams to the cup and put that in the sock, breaking it up into two separate processes. Having a funnel helps, but it's really not needed. You can simply do this by grabbing handfuls of sand or dirt or other media and pouring it into the sock. Especially when you're out in the field, you probably won't have a funnel. I just used a funnel in this case to speed up the process so you didn't have to sit here and watch me fill a sock by hand. As you fill up the sock, push the media down to the bottom of the sock. Make sure you leave some space to be able to reshape the sock as needed, but fill it about halfway. Once finished filling, simply twist the end of the sock closed 3 to 5 revolutions, and then tie the sock closed using a simple overhand knot. The knot should be tight, but leave enough room to move the media around and reshape the sock. That's pretty important for use during shooting. Now pull the extra bit of the sock back over the filled portion. And that's it. There's a shooting rest that you just made out of a spare sock that you could do in the field using sand. Now on the second version that I build later, I don't tie off the end of the sock because it leaves this protrusion of hard knotted fabric at one end. To avoid this, you can tie the end closed using some string or cord or sew it shut. I have seen 2 or 3 zip ties used, but I think this would leave a hard plastic area beneath the surface of one end that would be irritating to have. The second sock that I built today starts the same way, simply by turning it inside out. Using the funnel, if you have one, dump in your chosen media, in this case the airsoft pellets, and fill it about halfway. Once it's filled, push all the pellets to one end and shape it how you'd like it, and decide where you're going to close the sock by pinching it closed as you mess around with it and try to determine exactly where you want to close the sock off. I chose to close mine about the heel or about halfway up the tube of the sock, making a log that's about 6 inches long and about 4 inches in diameter. As you can see, I squish it into all kinds of different shapes as needed. Then I twist it closed just like the last one, but only do a revolution or two on the twist. You just need to get it shut while you tie it or sew it shut. If you plan on sewing it shut, just use some cotton string like I do here and tie a square knot to hold it shut temporarily while you go and sew it. Make sure this knot is very tight to avoid it coming loose while you're sewing it. If you want to use zip ties to close the end, you can. It's really simple, but I just don't like the results. If you're just using string, which is what I ended up doing here, simply tie the square knot, flip it over, take the loose ends of the string, wrap it to that side, and tie another square knot in that side. And that should be good enough if you're using cotton string to hold this sock closed. Once you have the knots tied, trim the excess string away with a knife or scissors. If you're sewing it, do that before moving on to the next step. Next, take the free end and roll it over the filled portion, just as I did with the first sock. In this version, you can pull the sock until the tied or sewn end is almost smooth. You won't have that bulge that was in the first sock because there's no knotted end of the sock. Once that end is smooth and you have all the sock pulled over the filled portion, you can take what loose sock there is left and tuck that back into the sock, eliminating anything hanging loose. And then you can leave that part open as I have in my example here, or you can sew it shut as well. Now, for use of the sock, it's fairly simple. You use it to support the rifle and try to eliminate your influence on the rifle. The most often method of use is shown here, firing prone or from a bench off of a bipod, and the shooting sock supporting the butt end of the rifle. In this method, all you have to do is lay behind the rifle and absorb the recoil while trying to minimize your influence on the rifle. So you just pull the rifle into your shoulder with your right hand and use your left hand to squeeze the sock or release pressure, and when you do this, it'll cause the sock to move your point of aim either up or down. If you're off to the right or left of the target, you actually have to reposition yourself and the rifle to align with the target, and the only part of your point of aim that should be changing is your elevation with pressure on the sock. This is usually called natural point of aim, and I'll cover that more in depth in a follow-up video on actually how to shoot. If you don't have a bipod, you can use your backpack. Normally I carry a pack while hunting anyway, and it's shown here. Same concept as firing with the bipod, but now the pack supports the rifle instead of the bipod. If you're on a hard surface or concrete, such as a range bench, this might be a better option than a bipod anyway. Usually when I fire my rifle off of a hard surface, I notice it seems to bounce when using the bipod. Also, make sure you pack a sweatshirt or a poncho last in your pack so it's on top to give you a soft surface to shoot off of when using the backpack. Now, if you have to shoot off something hard like a wall or log or this block, or you need a little bit more height when shooting off the backpack, you can use both socks, and I'll show these to you here. Just remember, when shooting supported, never rest your rifle on something hard and never let the barrel touch anything. Only rest the rifle on the stock. If you let the barrel touch something or you lay your rifle across the hard surface, your results will be terrible accuracy and precision. That's the shooting sock and how to use it. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video, and please check out my other ones. I'm going to be posting up videos on how to do reloading, shooting, and how to set up a rifle. Have a good day.